Most people will tell you, just be yourself. But history's greatest strategists knew a darker truth. Being yourself is the fastest way to lose power. Because the moment people see who you really are, your fears, your doubts, your desires, they gain control over you. Machiavelli taught that the wise never walk into the world naked. They walk armored, behind a mask. A mask that shifts with every room they enter. A mask that protects their intentions. A mask that makes them appear stronger, calmer, and more commanding than they feel inside. Today, you will learn this ancient strategy. How to stop showing the world your raw self, and instead present the version of you that wins respect, influence, and advantage in any situation. This is not about faking. It's about mastery. Mastery of perception. Mastery of presence. Mastery of power. Your true self is a liability. This is a harsh but essential lesson from Machiavelli, and one that many fail to understand because society has conditioned us to believe that authenticity is always a virtue. In reality, revealing your real thoughts, feelings, and weaknesses to the world exposes you to manipulation, criticism, and loss of control. People are constantly observing, analyzing, and exploiting any hint of vulnerability. And the moment you allow your true self to be seen, you surrender power over how others perceive and respond to you. Being genuine is often celebrated in philosophy and culture, but in the arena of influence and strategy, it is a dangerous weakness. A person who wears their heart on their sleeve becomes predictable. They are transparent in ways that invite attacks or manipulation. Those who know your fears can exploit them. Those who understand your desires can redirect or control your actions. Machiavelli emphasizes that human beings are not simply guided by reason or morality. They are driven by self-interest, ambition, and the pursuit of advantage. To survive and thrive in such an environment, revealing your inner self recklessly is impractical. Every action, every word, and every expression communicates information, and once it is exposed, it can never be your genuine emotions, your private thoughts, your natural inclinations, all of these can become tools for others if you do not guard them carefully. The wise understand that the outer world judges based on appearances. People respond to the image you present, not the reality you carry inside. If your true self is messy, emotional, or inconsistent, it creates opportunities for others to undermine you. Even traits society considers positive, like kindness or generosity, can be exploited when displayed without discernment. If you show unfiltered empathy to the wrong person, it becomes a lever they can use to manipulate your decisions. If you display humility to the wrong observer, they may take advantage of your deference. Human interaction is a game of perception, and your unmasked self is a set of unguarded cards laid bare for everyone to see. Machiavelli's insight is that strength is born from concealment. By limiting exposure of your true nature, you retain the ability to maneuver, adapt, and respond strategically. You decide which parts of yourself to reveal, to whom, and under what circumstances. This selective revelation is what distinguishes the powerful from the vulnerable. Even small, seemingly insignificant details about your personality or your tendencies can be used against you in subtle ways. A smile easily given, a hesitation in speech, a flash of anger, these are all data points for observers who are constantly evaluating whether you can be controlled, persuaded, or defeated. Recognizing the liability of your true self is not about becoming deceitful or malicious. It is about awareness and protection. Understanding that your personal thoughts and feelings are valuable assets ensures that you guard them, just as a general would protect a key supply line. By consciously choosing what to expose, you create a buffer between your inner world and the outside world. This buffer gives you freedom and safety. It allows you to act decisively without being held hostage by the judgments or expectations of others. Ultimately, Machiavelli teaches that the self you carry within is not always the self that the world can safely handle. While honesty and authenticity are praised as virtues, they are not strategic advantages. True power lies in controlling what is seen, in managing perception, and in protecting the inner self from unnecessary exposure. Every moment you interact with others, you are presenting a version of yourself, and the strength of that presentation determines the extent of your influence, authority, and security. Wearing the mask that the situation demands is at the heart of Machiavelli's strategic philosophy. The world is unpredictable, and people react not to reality itself, but to the signals they perceive. The one who insists on always being authentic limits themselves to a single, rigid version of who they are, failing to adapt to the shifting currents of circumstance. Life, business, politics, and social interaction are filled with countless scenarios, each requiring a different approach, a different tone, a different presence. A mask is not a lie. It is a tool of navigation, a way to engage effectively with the world without revealing every aspect of your inner self. In negotiations, appearing conciliatory can open doors and create alliances that would remain closed if bluntness or aggression were displayed. In moments of conflict, projecting calm authority or even controlled ruthlessness can command respect and deter challenges. In intimate relationships, showing empathy and warmth selectively can build trust and loyalty, while revealing too much vulnerability can provoke exploitation or disappointment. The mask allows you to tailor your outward expression to the context, and by doing so, you retain power over how others respond to you. History is filled with leaders, generals, and statesmen who understood the necessity of adopting different faces. They knew that rigid consistency often led to failure because it allowed adversaries to predict and manipulate their behavior. The mask provides flexibility. It creates a buffer between your inner intentions and the judgments of those observing you. When you present the right mask, you influence perception, guide reactions, and control outcomes without revealing your true motivations. This is not about being false. It is about being strategic. Just as a chess player does not reveal their plan to the opponent, a person who masters the mask shields their plans and adapts their outward presentation to suit the moment. Each situation has its own demands, and the mask is the tool that allows you to meet those demands effectively. In professional environments, for example, the mask can allow you to appear confident even when you feel uncertain, decisive even when you are weighing options, calm when chaos surrounds you. In social dynamics, it can help you navigate egos, ambitions, and rivalries by presenting a version of yourself that disarms hostility or gains favor. The mask is not a single, permanent construct. It is fluid. It shifts, changes, and adapts according to circumstance. The person who wears the mask skillfully can enter any room, meet any challenge, and interact with any type of individual while maintaining control over perception and influence. Importantly, the mask is also protective. It prevents the world from seeing weaknesses, fears, or impulses that could be used against you. By choosing carefully what to reveal and what to conceal, you preserve your strategic advantage. It allows you to act decisively without being constrained by the judgments, expectations, or misinterpretations of others. Mastery of the mask requires observation, self-awareness, and adaptability. You must understand the environment, read the people around you, and anticipate how your actions will be interpreted. You must also have the self-discipline to control which aspects of yourself are exposed and which remain hidden. In doing so, you gain a level of freedom that those who insist on just being themselves cannot attain. They are bound by their natural tendencies and transparent reactions, while the one who wears the mask moves with calculated agility, able to influence, persuade, and achieve objectives with precision. The mask transforms ordinary interaction into strategy, chaos into opportunity, and social exchange into a game of advantage. Those who master this art do not merely react to the world. They shape it according to their will, skillfully navigating situations with the appearance that best serves their goals while concealing their full intentions from those who might exploit them. Controlling what others see rather than who you truly are is a principle that lies at the very core of Machiavelli's philosophy. The world reacts to appearances, not hidden truths. Human beings rarely judge reality. They interpret the signals they receive, and those signals are always filtered through perception, bias, and assumption. What you reveal to the world becomes your reality in the eyes of others, whether it aligns with your inner self or not. By managing this perception, you shape the behavior, expectations, and decisions of those around you, while keeping the true depth of your thoughts, intentions, and feelings protected. The person who fails to control what is seen is at constant risk of being misjudged, underestimated, or manipulated. Even the smallest gestures, words, or expressions carry weight far beyond their immediate meaning, and they can alter how others respond to you. Machiavelli understood that strength and influence are derived not only from competence or knowledge, but also from the image projected. A leader who appears decisive commands obedience. One who appears uncertain invites challenge. A person who appears generous may win loyalty, but one who appears self-interested can trigger caution or suspicion. The outer projection, carefully curated, is the instrument through which you interact strategically with the world. Controlling what others see does not require abandoning your principles or inner identity. Rather, it requires discretion and awareness. It is the art of selective revelation, the ability to determine which aspects of yourself to expose and which to conceal. Bedoink, Tissue ensured that the world interacts with the version of you that serves your objectives, rather than a version that reveals vulnerability, indecision, or unguarded impulses. Every interaction, whether in business, social environments, or personal relationships, carries signals that others interpret. If you allow your inner anxieties, desires, or biases to leak freely, you give power to those who observe you. They will use what they see to anticipate your actions, manipulate your choices, or undermine your influence. The conscious management of perception turns this vulnerability into strength. By controlling appearances, you create a narrative that others accept as truth. They may believe you are confident, decisive, composed, or generous even, if these qualities are only partially reflected in your inner state. The effectiveness of this control relies on consistency and subtlety. Overexposure or erratic presentation breaks the illusion, while careful, deliberate curation reinforces it. Machiavelli also emphasizes that perception is a tool for protection. By controlling what is seen, you prevent adversaries from identifying weaknesses they could exploit. They may guess at your intentions, but without clear evidence, they are forced to operate with uncertainty. This uncertainty itself becomes leverage, as it limits their ability to act decisively against you. Controlling appearances is not about deception for deception's sake. It is about strategic influence, preserving autonomy, and guiding interactions in ways that benefit you. It allows you to navigate environments where trust, loyalty, and assumptions are constantly tested. By carefully managing what others observe, you determine how they treat you, what risks they are willing to take against you, and how much power they believe they hold. This principle applies to every layer of life, from professional settings to personal relationships. Those who master it can move through society with authority and confidence, shaping outcomes without exposing their inner self to unnecessary scrutiny or manipulation. It is a form of armor, a protective mechanism, and a means of commanding respect. When perception is under your control, you can direct influence, protect your interests, and operate with a freedom that those who reveal themselves fully cannot achieve, because they are perpetually vulnerable to the judgments and strategies of others. Mastering the art of selective virtue is one of the most subtle yet powerful strategies. Machiavelli teaches, virtue in this sense is not a moral requirement but a tool, a means to achieve influence, respect, and strategic advantage. It is the outward display of qualities such as honesty, loyalty, generosity, courage, or compassion, but only when these qualities serve your purpose. Displaying virtue indiscriminately is dangerous because it reveals parts of yourself that others may exploit. People are constantly assessing those around them, looking for signs of weakness, predictability, or compliance. If you show your virtues without consideration, you risk being manipulated, used, or even betrayed. The wise understand that virtue is context-dependent. It must be deployed strategically, like a weapon or a shield, according to the demands of the moment and the nature of those you interact with. For instance, showing loyalty to someone powerful may earn their trust and protection, but showing the same loyalty to someone who intends to manipulate you may result in exploitation. Similarly, appearing generous can inspire loyalty or admiration, but overextending generosity to those who are unworthy or self-serving invites depletion and vulnerability. Selective virtue is the practice of carefully choosing when, where, and to whom you demonstrate particular qualities. It requires awareness of the situation, of human nature, and of the motives of those around you. Machiavelli repeatedly emphasized that people are not guided solely by ethics or rationality. They are influenced by self-interest, perception, and fear. Therefore, presenting the right virtue at the right moment is less about honesty and more about influence. It is about shaping how others perceive you in a way that benefits your position, your goals, and your security. Mastering this art involves observation, patience, and self-control. You must constantly read the room, anticipate reactions, and judge which aspect of yourself will have the greatest effect. Every action communicates, and when virtue is displayed strategically, it sends a message of trustworthiness, competence, or authority without unnecessarily exposing vulnerabilities. One of the greatest dangers is overexposure. Showing virtue to consistently or inappropriately can create expectations or assumptions that limit your freedom to act. Others may take your kindness for granted, your honesty as weakness, or your loyalty as a guarantee of compliance. By contrast, selective virtue allows you to retain unpredictability and power. People never fully understand where you stand or how you will act next, and this uncertainty is a source of advantage. Furthermore, selective virtue builds credibility and influence efficiently. When others see moments of honesty, generosity, or courage from you at carefully chosen times, the impact is magnified. They perceive these actions as genuine, exceptional, and noteworthy, increasing your ability to command respect and loyalty. This strategy requires constant discipline. One must suppress impulses to display virtue purely out of habit, habitually being generous, truthful, or kind without consideration of context. The strategic practitioner of selective virtue instead calculates the consequences and benefits of each outward display, using it to guide perception and manipulate influence. The ultimate objective is to navigate the world with both power and safety. By mastering which virtues to reveal and when, you protect yourself from exploitation while simultaneously enhancing your authority, respect, and influence. You control the narrative of who you are in the eyes of others, presenting qualities that serve you while withholding those that might compromise you. In this way, selective virtue becomes a sophisticated tool of strategy, a means of asserting dominance, maintaining flexibility, and maximizing advantage in every interaction and relationship, turning perception into power while concealing the full depth of your inner self. Predicting others' expectations and exploiting them is one of the most subtle and effective tools of influence that Machiavelli emphasizes. People constantly operate based on assumptions about the behavior, intentions, and character of those around them. They judge you not by your private knowledge or inner truth, but by what they expect you to be. And their expectations guide how they treat you, the opportunities they offer, and the trust they extend. By understanding these expectations, you gain the ability to shape interactions and outcomes in your favor. When you anticipate what others believe you will do or how you will act, you can strategically align your outward behavior with those beliefs. This does not mean you become a puppet to others' assumptions, but rather that you harness those assumptions as a tool to direct perception and action. For example, if someone expects confidence, presenting calm decisiveness reassures them and strengthens your credibility, even if internally you are uncertain. If someone admires humility, demonstrating measured modesty can inspire trust and cooperation. By aligning with these expectations, you guide others toward reactions that serve your goals while minimizing resistance or opposition. Exploiting expectations is also a form of psychological leverage. People are most vulnerable when they act on assumptions that you have the power to confirm or manipulate. If you present yourself in ways that fulfill their anticipations, they are more likely to be cooperative, deferential, or supportive, often without realizing they are being influenced. Conversely, if you deliberately defy expectations at critical moments, you can create surprise, disorientation, or advantage, leaving others unprepared to respond. Machiavelli understood that human behavior is often predictable, precisely because people cling to their expectations. They project desires, fears, and norms onto others, seeking patterns and consistency. Those who master the art of managing expectations learn to manipulate these patterns for strategic advantage. This mastery requires acute observation and analysis. You must pay attention to how people perceive you, what assumptions they make, and how their expectations shape their behavior. Every interaction provides clues. The way someone reacts to a suggestion, the deference they show to authority, the questions they ask, or the compliments they offer. Each detail is a piece of information you can use to anticipate and influence future actions. Moreover, exploiting expectations is not merely reactive, it is proactive. You can set up situations that guide others to form the assumptions you want them to hold. By controlling what they observe, You create a framework of belief that shapes their decisions and reactions in predictable ways. The advantage of this approach is twofold. First, it enhances your control over social dynamics. By aligning your actions with expectations, you reduce friction and resistance, making interactions smoother and more predictable. Second, it protects you from vulnerability. When others' perceptions are guided by carefully managed expectations, they are less likely to probe for weaknesses or test boundaries. This creates a psychological buffer that preserves your influence and safety. Strategic manipulation of expectations also strengthens authority and leadership. People are more likely to follow, respect, and emulate those who behave in ways consistent with their anticipations of competence, integrity, or decisiveness. By cultivating an image that fulfills these expectations, you reinforce their trust and dependence on you, amplifying your influence without the need for coercion or force. Ultimately, mastering others' expectations is a sophisticated form of power. It requires insight, subtlety, and patience, and it transforms ordinary interactions into opportunities for influence, advantage, and control. By observing, predicting, and strategically fulfilling the assumptions people make, you create conditions that favor your objectives, protect your vulnerabilities, and establish a perception of authority and competence that operates independently of your internal state. In this way, expectations become a tool to navigate complex social landscapes, allowing you to manipulate outcomes and secure advantages, while maintaining the strategic upper hand, guiding behavior without direct confrontation, and shaping perception into a weapon of influence. The mask protects you from attack, and this protection is one of the most powerful lessons Machiavelli imparts about human interaction and strategy. Every person possesses weaknesses, fears, and desires that, if revealed, can be exploited by others who are constantly observing and calculating. Human nature, according to Machiavelli, is driven by self-interest, ambition, and the desire to gain advantage whenever possible. If your true intentions, vulnerabilities, or impulses are exposed, others will inevitably use them against you to gain power, influence, or advantage. The mask acts as a barrier, concealing these private elements while presenting only what is strategically advantageous. By hiding your weaknesses, you prevent adversaries from targeting them. By concealing your plans, you protect your objectives from disruption or sabotage. By controlling the outward projection of your thoughts and emotions, you limit the information available to those who would manipulate or challenge you. The mask is not merely defensive. It is proactive. It allows you to shape how others perceive you, creating an image of strength, confidence, and control even in moments of uncertainty or vulnerability. This perception alone can deter attacks, influence behavior, and command respect. People are less likely to challenge, deceive, or undermine someone whose true capabilities and intentions remain hidden because uncertainty itself is a form of power. The mask also creates ambiguity. When others cannot discern your motives, they are forced to act with caution, assuming the worst or hesitating to act against you. This hesitation works in your favor, giving you time to maneuver, adapt, and assert influence without confrontation. Machiavelli emphasizes that power is maintained not only through force, but through perception. The mask amplifies this principle by enabling you to present a version of yourself that maximizes authority while minimizing exposure. It transforms the act of self-presentation into a calculated defensive strategy. Mastering the mask requires vigilance and you must know which elements of yourself are safe to display and which must remain hidden. Impulses, fears, and private desires must be carefully managed, as even small signs can reveal your inner state to those who are watching closely. The mask also requires adaptability. Different situations and different people demand different masks. What protects you in one scenario may expose you in another. The skill lies in selecting the mask that both shields vulnerabilities and advances strategic objectives. In addition to protection, the mask fosters freedom. By controlling what is visible to the world, you are not bound by others' expectations or reactions. You can act with deliberate calculation rather than emotional impulsiveness, choosing responses that serve your purpose instead of being dictated by social pressures or judgment. This freedom allows you to operate with confidence, knowing that exposure is minimized and influence is maximized. Furthermore, the mask can be used offensively as a tool to manipulate, guide, and influence others, while keeping your true intentions concealed. By carefully curating the image you present, you can lead people to make decisions that align with your goals, all without revealing your hand. Over time, those who master the masks create an aura of mystery, competence, and authority. Their unpredictability becomes an advantage because others cannot anticipate their actions or exploit their weaknesses. They move through social, professional, and political landscapes with a level of control and protection that those who reveal too much cannot achieve. Ultimately, the mask is both armor and weapon. It shields your vulnerabilities, guards your plans, and conceals your inner self, while simultaneously enabling you to shape perception, deter challenges, and influence behavior. Through careful management of the mask, you achieve a balance between concealment and presentation, turning protection into a source of power and transforming perception into a strategic tool. Mastery of the mask ensures that you remain untouchable in situations where honesty, openness, or unfiltered authenticity would leave you exposed and vulnerable, allowing you to navigate the world with calculated control, strategic advantage, and enduring influence. In the end, the lesson is clear. Power, influence, and survival are rarely won by being your unfiltered self. The world rewards strategy, not sentiment. Perception, not pure truth. By mastering the mask, by controlling what others see, by deploying virtues, selectively by predicting expectations, and by shielding your vulnerabilities, you transform yourself from a mere participant in life into a commanding presence that shapes reality rather than being shaped by it. The mask is not deception, it is mastery. It allows you to act decisively, protect your inner self, and move through any situation with authority and freedom. Those who understand this principle do not wait for opportunities, they create them. They do not react to others. They guide them. They are never fully understood, never easily manipulated, and always steps ahead in the intricate game of human interaction. To succeed in life, you must embrace this strategy. You must recognize that your true self, your raw emotions, and your unguarded impulses are luxuries the world does not allow. Power belongs to those who act with precision, adapt with intelligence, and present themselves with calculated intention. Wear your mask wisely, control your image, and act with unshakable purpose. Because in this world, perception is power, strategy is survival, and mastery of yourself is the ultimate victory.